Good morning, everyone. It is the 16th of April. I almost said March, but I am going to be a fully functioning adult today and remember what month we are in. Just in case you are still writing out checks and you're getting confused, it's 25. That being said, if you're still writing checks, you know, we should all write in cursive and, confuse the Gen Zers. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Wolfram, for doing all of your Modly Mod duties. Welcome, Marissa and Christine. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. Alice G, Tammy Bogart, Cher Bear, Carol Sue Scott. Let's see here. Tammy Bogard, Greedy Bloke, JKD Buck, Squid Pro Quo, Tammy C, all of you guys. And Tammy, hopefully this new doctor will be helpful. We have a bunch of news, a bunch of absurd. Welcome, Speedy Gonzalez. And if you do not like the YouTubey tubes, I am on the green machine, so you can go over there. I am trying to be functional on 2 different platforms. Hell, I might even get a locals. Let me be crazy on all channels. Welcome, Squab Bob. Our first story is a bit of a sad one if you like to watch Game Show Network because Hollywood is creating nothing new and nothing good. Again, bring back Press Your Luck in American Gladiator. And again, ABC, I can help you. Just put me in charge and I'll tell you what people want to watch. Touched by an Angel, Charmed, American Gladiator, Cops, and Forensic Files. You're welcome. But a sad, rest in peace for game show host Wink Martindale, who is known for Tic-Tac-Doe, High Rollers, Gambit. He has passed away at 91, probably after, flirting with all the ladies. And look at that 70s hair. That is a hair helmet and a half. Good Lord, that hair would not move in a hurricane. That has been sprayed and shellacked. That's not moving. Wink Martindale, the game show host best known for helming Tic-Tac-Doe, High Rollers, and Gambit, has passed away. He was 91. Now, a spokesperson for the Martindale family revealed that the beloved TV personality passed away Tuesday in Rancho Mirage, California. Now, Deadline has reported this, and Fox News has also confirmed that he passed. Now, the game show host was surrounded by family and his beloved wife of 49 years, Sandra Martindale. The spokesperson said a cause of death was not given. Now, in addition to Sandra, Martindale is survived by his daughters, Lisa, Lynn, and Laura, and his sister, Geraldine, also his honorary son, Eric. Martindale's manager, Dolores Cantu, remembered the late star in a statement posted to Facebook, calling him one of her closest friends, whom she had known for over 40 years. We became friends when I arrived in Los Angeles, she wrote, adding that Martindale had been doing the voiceover for my birthday videos for years. Wink was the legend with a gold heart. I got to spend time with him last year to celebrate my birthday in Palm Springs. Wink and Sandy were my family. And, ooh, I don't like mushrooms, but, you know, oh, yes. Look, I'm going to go tell Alex Trebek when I am in heaven, look, y'all, I'm still going to be awkward. Like, let's be real. This is how God made me. But I'm going to run up to Alex Trebek in heaven and say, I don't know you, sir, but a burgeoning, pubescent Mo had a big old crush on you. Again, that landed me in therapy, allegedly. I was more in love with the fact that he had all the answers and the mustache, but my mom was a little horrified, which I can understand. 13-year-old telling you she has a crush on Alex Trebek, you do worry about dad issues. That being said, it was more that he had all the answers. Uh, I was just really impressed. That being said, it did clear up when I said, "No, I just like that he's really smart." I didn't realize that he didn't, actually make the answers and the questions himself. I was 13. Look, it was either Alex Trebek or Sully off of, Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. Those were the 2 I was gonna marry. Unless, of course, Lou Diamond Phillips from, was it Young Riders or Rough Riders? I don't remember, but if Lou Diamond Phillips had ever, stopped riding the Pony Express, I was there and in love. That being said, my mother was horrified. Oh, yeah, I forgot about him. Look, the '90s were full of men who looked like men. I don't know, I feel bad for Gen Z, don't you, Gen Alpha? I mean, they've got Timothy Chalamet or whatever the hell his name is, little twig boy. I mean, let's be real, Kevin Sorbo, I'm not the thinnest girl ever, but I'm pretty sure he can haul me up like a sack of potatoes and take me out of a fire. Now, Timothy Chalamet, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to carry him like a sweet little infant angel and, let him rest his head upon my bosom, for comfort, and ladies don't want that. Look, I this is a more you know moment. As a connoisseur of all the Smexy books ever, like, my Kindle Unlimited needs Jesus, okay? Like, a lot of it, like holy water, look, my pastor doesn't know what I read. Hell, my husband doesn't even know what I read, except for, like, when I send him things about the Loch Ness Monster, because there are romance novels about that. That being said, women want look at every romance novel. They're all semi-shirtless. They're all, buff, even the nerdy, stud muffin. So, yeah, we want Jack Reacher, not Timothy Chalamet, or at least that's what I say. Thank you, Jeffrey Montgomery. I have a feeling with, Karen Reed starting, I am going to need all the curse jar help in the world. But yeah, Hollywood, we want real men, not little twig boys. That being said, we have tangented and let's get back to the news. So, you know, he seemed to have lived an incredibly full life, and I'm glad that he turned out to be an absolutely nice person and, you know, uh, seemed to be a lovely guy. He passed away surrounded by friends and family. So, you know, what a great way to go. How we all wish we could go, surrounded by friends and family, and leaving a legacy of kindness and happiness behind us. Now, on to the absurd. Well, in an update, we do have an update. It looks like the US pastor who was taken hostage in South Africa has been, well, he's been found. They got him back, but not without some complications. It looks like the three suspects are dead. So, US Pastor John Sullivan uh, was rescued in South Africa after a shootout, being abducted during a sermon. An American pastor abducted by gunmen during his sermon in South Africa last week was rescued during a deadly high-stakes shootout which left all three suspects dead. Now, Josh Sullivan, 45, was rescued by the Hawks, a directorate for priority crime investigation. Now, during the fatal shootout in a southeastern port city of Guabera on Tuesday, the South African Police Service said. Now, the three unidentified suspects were unalived in a high-stakes shootout. Sullivan was found miraculously unharmed in a safe house, officials said. Now, police arrived at the safe house and discovered that the three individuals were inside a vehicle. The gunman did attempt to flee from the police and opened fire. Now, the officials shot back and fatally wounded the gunman. Sullivan was recovered from inside the vehicle. He has been assessed by medical personnel and has said to be in, excellent condition. So that is great. The Tennessee native was preaching to about 30 people at the Fellowship Baptist Church in Motherwell when four armed men broke in and abducted him on April 10th. So again, I'm glad that he, got back, but there really needs to be consideration and thought if these missionaries are going to go over there about the increased security. We need to not turn a blind eye to the fact that these are deeply dangerous countries, and security needs to be taken into account with these. That being said, I am glad he's okay, and I'm sorry that any life was lost, even if it was the bad guys, because they still have families. That being said, don't abduct a preacher. Like, y'all, I wear Crocs to church because I know my mouth is, let's say, irreverent, okay? So, I am always expecting a lightning bolt when I go into a church or a holy place to begin with, okay? But I have not ever abducted a preacher. So, that being said, these people, the one guy that's left might wanna think about that before he gets to them pearly gates, because I think St. Paul or St. Peter is gonna have a little bit of issues with that. That being said, not my Jesus time, not my problem, and I love saying that. Well, another thing that's not my problem, but there goes my childhood. Ex-child star Amanda Bynes is joining OnlyFans with a strict warning for a $50 monthly, subscription. So just what bits and parts are we gonna see of our former, well, child star? Amanda Bynes took to social media on Tuesday to let her followers know that she's ready to take OnlyFans by storm. Quote, I am on OnlyFans now. Disclaimer, I am only doing OnlyFans to chat through or for my fans through DMs. Like, I won't be posting any sleazy content, but excited to join, she wrote on her Instagram stories. The voice is made up, but that's what I'm guessing. Look, I can't do vocal fry. It hurts me. So there you go. No boobs, no lady lips, just talking to Amanda, who's definitely going to be there, and it's not going to be a dude she hired to talk to you. Totally, totally. Now, the subscription-based service showcases a wide range of activities, including mostly chicks, well, in shirts more revealing than I'm wearing. Just it's just boobs and lady bits. Look, it's the lower lady bits. I don't know what to tell you. I was gonna get an OnlyFans, but they actually freaking, like, take a bunch of, information to make an account, and since it was basically a gag, I decided not to invest any more energy. So, She's the Man star 39 set her OnlyFans subscription to $50 a month. So if you have, a half, hundy to go in and see not Amanda Bynes' lady lips, I don't know what to tell you. Now, she did rise to fame in 1996, during the Nickelodeon, well, kids thing, all that, and she had the Amanda Show from 1999 to 2002. She also then, went on to portray Holly Tyler on the WB sitcom What I Like About You from 2002 to 2006. I don't know any of these things. Thank you, Squab Bob, for a membership, and that one to Share Bear. Congratulations. Welcome to the Church of Mo, where we believe in the triangle of dark humor, sarcasm, and true crime. It's our sort of Canton triangle, if you will. Thank you, Squab Bob, for your support. Let me write out those tickets. And Share Bear, congratulations. We invite everyone, just keep your recorders at home. Dear Lord, y'all, middle most feral son came home with a recorder. Now, I didn't want to call and curse out his teacher because, it's a Christian school, and I was trying to be, I'm trying to be right with the Lord Jesus, and everything, and stay hydrated and, caffeinated and all that jazz. But they sent home an audio assault weapon, and I labeled it as such. Now, I have not received the return email in which I asked why I was given an audio assault weapon in my house, and my son was told to practice an hour a day. An hour of hot cross buns, you guys. I can't do this. I've done it for 5 children. He's my 5th child. I can't. Look, I refuse. I refuse. This is gonna lead me to day drinking. That being said, they can't keep getting away with this. When I'm president, we are taking out the recorders. We are giving everyone xylophones. I can handle xylophones. Violins. The agony tortured screeching of 1,000 cats. That's terrible. I'm a horrible parent. I should be so proud he's trying to learn an instrument, and all I'm thinking is, "God, make the torture stop." Well, there's just no segue to this. I'm just gonna let the headline speak for itself, y'all, because, well, what the actual F? A grandmother's head was yanked out of a 23-foot python's mouth after she went missing in Indonesia. As you do. As you do. I am looking at noise canceling headphones. The problem is, and this must be a me and a mom thing, I'm so used to only using one earbud all the time that, when I tried out my daughter's noise canceling headphones, I was so disoriented because I couldn't hear anything, and my body actually became hyper anxious because I couldn't hear what was going on around me. Now, I don't know that like I said, y'all, I have always said therapist would have a daggone field day with me. That being said, let's figure out what happened between Granny and the python because, y'all, this headline. A young grandmother's body was found with her head gulped inside a 23-foot python's mouth shortly after she disappeared while tending to gardens near her home in Indonesia. As you do. Well, yeah, but I don't wanna be that neighbor that gets because we have, neighbor. Lightning Leaf, do do you want to ever go to family functions ever again? Now, I wouldn't, but, there you go. To be fair, if I die, eaten by a python and someone doesn't play, my Anaconda Don't Want None at my funeral, I'm done. If I die, you know, eaten by a snake in Indonesia, just just play I Like Big Butts and just the line with the anaconda. I just want it played. Put it on my casket. I don't care. Now, Wasiti was a 55-year-old grandmother who mysteriously vanished while she was out gardening, according to a report. Now, one of her sons, Samian, called family over to help search for her when he noticed that she had left her basket abandoned in the yard. I'd always worried about her working on the farm. I've seen big snakes before, and she worked on the farm since she was a little girl, so she was not afraid. She would always have her basket with her, so I knew something was wrong, Simin said, according to the Sun. Now, one of her other sons, La Faru, stumbled across a 23-foot python with his mother's upper body wedged in its gullet, the outlet reported. Well, I guess we don't need to play Clue as to how this happened then. Did it kill the snake too? I mean, that's a okie dokie. Wasiti's head was completely swallowed by the snake's mouth, and her face was coated in thick slime when the rescuers finally got it out of its grip. But by that point, she was already dead. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Like, I mean, the cause of death. This is not a Linda Sturmer case. I'm pretty sure the snake done it. I mean, I'm no Columbo or nothing. Uh, yeah. So in October 2022, another grandmother met the same fate as Wasiti in a eerily familiar way. Well, they've gotten a taste for human blood, and now we have to take out the anacondas, the pythons, all of them. Look, we just, I think the snake is okay, or they killed it. I don't know. I think I would get revenge. You know? Well, it is what it is. Now, Jariah, 54, failed to return home from working in a plantation. The following day, her husband unfortunately learned that a 22-foot python had swallowed her whole. Hulking reptiles like pythons are commonplace in Southeast Asia, but most modern infrastructure has pushed them away from densely populated areas. In Indonesia, they can largely roam unimpeded through villages, creating openings for attacks on humans. Just another place Mo will not be traveling to. Indonesia with all the scary snakes. Now, I need you to gird your earloins because we have a furry for Lord Chippy. Yes, in our, contestants to meet our greatest worker, Lord Chippy, we do have a furry. So gird your loins, Lord Chippy awaits. Well, our first candidate for the earliest Darwin Award available, a genetic reject who should have stayed on a family tree that was a pole. A man on a quote unquote spiritual fast murders his addiction sponsor before casually telling the cops he also unalived the dogs or the dog. Now, Lord Chippy attendants, you do you. You guys are good, but I would go start, reverse, start, reverse. That's just me. I'd pull a Linda Sturmer, start, reverse, start, reverse. I cannot wait for her sentencing. It is when those boys speak, the petty will flow. Let's get back to the story. This reject. I mean, if a mugshot could match a headline, Shizzy and I would have gotten this one. Now, a 34-year-old man in Wisconsin. Now, I already had a meltdown yesterday about Wisconsin becoming the Florida of the Midwest. I can't repeat myself. Wisconsin, what is wrong with you? How much Pabst Blue Ribbon has caused this? What is going on in Wisconsin? Please come to the front of the congregation. The state of Wisconsin, we are calling you. This man is facing multiple felony charges for allegedly killing his addiction sponsor, fatally stabbing the 60-year-old nearly 30 times after spending several days fasting for spiritual reasons. James C. Dorr Jr. was arrested earlier this year and charged with 1 count of first-degree intentional murder, 1 count of possession of method-acting powder, little crystal, if you will, and 2 counts of resisting and obstructing an officer. So I guess he wasn't, spiritually fasting from meth, as you do. You have to spiritually fast and be on, some kind of stimulant, so you don't want to eat. Perfect sense. Now, Dorr is also facing 1 count of mistreatment of animal resulting in death for allegedly unaliving the victim's dog to death. Well, stabbing the victim's dog to death. Sir, if I could I wouldn't personally cover you in honey because I'd have to touch you, and it looks like you might have leprosy or at least scabies, and I just don't need that in my life. Look, I have 6 children. I have dealt with lice, and I'm just not having it no more. But I would kindly put you on top of a fire ant hill and just be happy to just, F on off into the distance, sir. That being said, don't mess with dogs. Don't mess with people that are attempting to help you. Now, according to a news release from the Green Bay Police Department, the incident took place around 8:50 p.m. on Tuesday, January 28th, 2025, inside an apartment complex on the 1500 block of Capitol Drive on the city's west side. Now, the victim, who lived at the residence and only has been described by authorities as DV, police said Dorr was taken into custody and charged the following day. Now, a copy of the criminal complaint obtained by Green Bay Fox affiliate WLUK provided additional details about the circumstances of the alleged attack. Now, the report states that when police first arrived at the victim's home, they found him lying on the ground inside the residence. He appeared to have been stabbed multiple times in the head, neck, and chest. He was obviously pronounced passed away at the scene. A subsequent autopsy determined that he had suffered a total of 27 sharp force injuries, including 15 stab wounds to both his chest and 1 to his face. Now, in a brief search of the home, this is going to piss me off beyond. Look, sir, I don't know what the hell happened in your life. I am sorry you were the sperm that won, but to do what you just did, I'm going to read this because y'all are just, look, throw him in a pit of tar. I don't care. It was also revealed that the victim's dog, a little white poodle named Benji, was dead in the bedroom beneath the victim's bed. Now, they also turned up a wallet belonging to Dorr. Now, according to the Green Bay Press Gazette, the victim's ex-wife told investigators that she had gone to check on her ex-husband after she was unable to get in touch with him during the day. That's when she found him on the ground in a pool of blood. Now, Dorm, who she described as a friend or roommate of the victim, was also in the home when she arrived. Now, the ex wife reported that she immediately ran from the apartment. Police located Dorr walking on the street the following day and placed him under arrest. He was allegedly in possession of the crystal at the time. Quote, I asked if he stabbed him, and he said, yeah, I did, and his dog too. I asked him to explain how that happened, and he said he had been having thoughts about seeing his mother and his daughter's mom getting raped and unalived. He said it was like the end of the world, the complaint said. He said that prior to this, he and the victim were talking and getting along, and they'd gotten along just fine. He said they didn't have a fight. He just thought it was the end of the world and said he didn't know. Dorr explained that he was having thoughts in his head and he saw his daughter and mom getting unalived, and he said he'd been fasting without food or water for about 2 days for spiritual reasons. Now, before the interview ended, Dorr allegedly told the police that he was unsure what month or day it was and admitted to stabbing the victim's dog, saying that was stupid of him. Yeah, don't do meth. I don't know who needs to hear this, but Breaking Bad is not a life goal. Okay. Now, Dorr on Monday pled not guilty to all of the aforementioned charges. He does remain in detention at Dodge Correctional Institution. Well, isn't that special? I don't know who did this. Maybe it's Satan? And as promised, a real effing furry, a furry for Lord Chippy. Rejoice, for there shall be a parade. A furry who called himself a beast was sentenced for unaliving a girl's parents so he could run away with her. Now, which one of you has a fursona? I don't I'm guessing both of you, to be honest. Again, genetic dead ends that should have, graced the world with a Darwin Award and a funny story rather than, ending up in true crime. A 33-year-old California man will spend the rest of his life in prison for unaliving 3 people, including the parents of a 17-year-old girl he became obsessed with after meeting her in the furry subculture 9 years ago. Frank Sato Felix was found guilty last year of 3 counts each of first-degree murder and enhancements of multiple murders, an Orange County District Attorney official said. Now, on Friday, the judge sentenced him to 3 life terms behind bars. It's still California, so I'm guessing he'll get to wear his furry suit and all that. Yeah, I mean, look, y'all are gonna have to clean out the gears. Look, it's gonna be messy. The victims were 39-year-old Jennifer Goodwill Yost and her husband, 35-year-old Christopher Yost, along with their friend Arthur Billy Boucher, who happened to be spending the night at home with them at the time of the murders. Now, according to a courtroom report from the Orange County Register, Yost's sister made a victim impact statement. No sentence can erase the horrors of that night, she said. Felix also made a brief statement in which he reportedly called himself the Beast. Honey, no, what you are going to be is it does start with a B, but you are going to be a biatch. You are going to be someone's wife. You did get it right. A for effort, D for denied, E for eventually, and F for FU, sir. No, you are not going to be a beast. You are going to be a biatch. There's a difference. Have fun. Maybe, all that practice you had wearing a tail will, help you. You should be used to it. To the families and victims, I would trade places in a minute with those who were killed, he reportedly said. Now, as Law and Crime previously reported, prosecutors said the teen girl in 2016 was introduced by her mother to the furry subculture. Parents don't let your children be furries. Look, until they're old enough to be out of the house and you don't have to buy that fleece, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of sewing and a lot of Febreze, I would imagine. Also, why are you letting your daughter into a subculture that is, in part sexual? Let's be real. As much as we make fun of furries, there is a component. I personally like the absurdity of it. If you are a furry, I don't care. I think it's kinda cool. You have your own, thing that you do. But let's be realistic that there are some sexual components to this, and why would a parent, willingly introduce their child to this when they understand that there are actually, some sexual connotations with this? You are going to see people that are there as fetishists, not as furries. And why would you introduce your daughter to that? That being said, not my family, not my circus, not my squirrels. I try not to judge people, but why? I do have questions. It's not judgment, it's questions. Now, it was because of these events she met, Felix, who was then 25 years old. So, teen girl, 25 years old. And his buddy Joshua Carlos Acosta, an Army medic stationed at Fort Irvin in Barstow, who was 21 at the time. Now, according to prosecutors, Felix became obsessed with the girl and was eventually romantically involved with her. Now, Goodwill Yost and her husband, Christopher Yost, the girl's stepfather, disapproved of the relationship. Now, Felix decided that the parents needed to get out of the way so the 17-year-old girl could run away and live in happy fratrimony with her, 25-year-old furry boyfriend. Yeah, that doesn't math even with Cole's math. Even with Cole's cash, that doesn't math, sir. Now, he gave Acosta a shotgun ammunition, and on September 24th, 2016, they drove to the Yost home in Fullerton. They waited until the Yost and Boucher went to sleep. The girl came outside and sat with Felix in his truck parked in the driveway. Now, armed with the shotgun, Acosta slipped into the house. He executed Boucher as he slept on the couch, then went to the master bedroom where he shot the mother in the face. Now, Yost ran for his life and tried to escape to the patio area, but Acosta tracked him down and shot him in the head. Now, Acosta, Felix, and the girl headed back to Felix's house in Sun Valley, where they burned their clothes and tried to destroy their cell phones. Meanwhile, the Yost other children, oh, fuck you sideways with a cactus. The 16-year-old, 17-year-old girl, she made a choice and she knew the consequences. But there was a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old sleeping in the house. Look, go backwards, start with the toes, go at millimeter by millimeter. Look, you are human trash. You are the corroded dumpster water that hangs out that has maggots in it. Now, the Yost other children, aged 6 and 9, were sleeping in the home at the time of the murders and woke up to find both their parents and Boucher dead. They called 911. Now, after an investigation, Fullerton police arrested Felix at his home and Acosta at Fort Irwin. I guess that, Brian Higgins tearing up your SIM card thing didn't work for them. I guess it only works in Canton. Do. Red Solo Cup. I fill you up. It's evidence. All right. So after an investigation, they did arrest them. A jury convicted him in 2018, and a judge sentenced, Acosta to life in prison. Quote, two little girls. So this is from the judge or the district attorney. Ages 6 and 9 went to sleep not knowing the last time that they would see their parents, and they would be woken up to find them shot to death. Orange County District Attorney Todd Spitzer said in a statement, the trauma inflicted on those little girls, compounded by the loss of both of their parents in such a violent way, is beyond heartbreaking. Violence is never the answer, and a sick, twisted plan turned into life behind bars for two young men. As for the teen girl, who should be in jail, in my opinion, just as well, an Orange County Register reported that she testified at Acosta's trial that she had no knowledge of the plot to kill her parents. Now, she reportedly told the jury that her stepfather had been touching her inappropriately for more than a decade. Now, after telling Felix about the abuse, she threatened, to tell her mother about the, touching, unless Felix had sex with her. Now, prosecutors never charged her for a crime. Talk about female privilege, boobs of justice, I guess, or boobs of lack of, responsibility. That's awesome. Nothing like, not taking care of anybody, but, getting a boob. And, well, this is an unknown, but it looks like we might have a New England serial unaliver. New England's serial unaliver fears grow as police downplay the threat encroaching on a wealthy coastal enclave. Ooh, Rex Heuermann. Speculation about a serial killer in New England is gaining significant traction online, specifically stemming from discussions in a private Facebook group called New England Serial Killer. Now, members of that Facebook group and social media users on other platforms like TikTok and X are pointing to several recent discoveries of human remains in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island between March and April. Now, authorities along the three states have identified remains in New Haven, Groton, Killing, apropos, Norwalk, Connecticut, as well as Framingham, Plymouth, Massachusetts, and Foster, Rhode Island. Now, three sets of human remains have been identified. New Haven police identified the remains discovered on March 21st as Denise Leary, a formerly missing 59-year-old mother of two. Now, Norwalk police also identified the remains of 35-year-old Paige Phaeton of West Islip, New York, on March 6th. Her remains were found in a swiftly moving Norwalk River after heavy rainfall the night before. Now, Rhode Island police identified remains found in a wooded area of Foster as 56-year-old Michelle Romano, who had been missing since August 2024. Now, their causes of death have not been released as of today. There is no information at this time suggesting any connection to similar remains discoveries. There is no known threat to the public at this time, Connecticut State Police said in a statement to Fox News Digital. CTSP further told police and troopers, told police that troopers had responded to Woodward Street in Killing on April 9th regarding the discovery of more possible human remains. Now, police later confirmed the remains, but they have yet to be identified. And there is, they have continued to say that there is no known threat to the public. This investigation is in early stages and remains active and ongoing per CTSP. Now, police in Groton, Connecticut, home to the Naval Submarine Base, located the remains of what appeared to be an adult female between the ages of 40 and 60 with light pigmented skin on March 19th. She may have had Turner syndrome. Individuals with Turner syndrome also often display physical characteristics such as short stature, a broad chest, a short, wide neck, and a small chin, Groton police said. I don't see any similarity in the pictures. What I am wondering is if any of these girls or any of these women, engaged in, let's say, some will say necessary, but definitely risky behaviors. Were they working in, SMEX work? Were they meeting people? Were they hooking up? I would like to see if there were any links to that. If these are all women that, in times past we would label as the less dead, women who work on the streets maybe are dealing with addiction. That's where I would try to find the connection if I were, a police officer, because while they don't look similar, they are in the same sort of age range. And if these are victims of opportunity, then there would be a, difference in maybe demographic and age range, but there might be, a connection as to, risky life behaviors. That being said, I'm a twice college dropout who's just trying to course it on and holy boob. So, take me with a grain of salt. Now, on April 10th, Massachusetts firefighters discovered remains in Framingham off the Massachusetts Turnpike, according to Fox 25 Boston. Authorities have yet to identify those remains, which they believe were in the area for several months before they were discovered. Jane Broski, a survivor of the Connecticut River Valley killer and host of the podcast Invisible Tears, shared concerns and questions about a serial killer in New England with those on social media. Broski posted a video discussing the possibility on Monday. Foster, Rhode Island, and Killingly, Connecticut. I should live there, the home of true crime. The 2 towns are the closest in proximity. The serial killer speculation seems to stem from the series of discoveries of female remains over a span of 2 months. However, just because the police discovered the remains between March and April doesn't mean that all the victims died between March and April. The New England Serial Killer Facebook group. Why are you still using Facebook? That's a question for another time, which has 57,000 members, garnered more than 10,000 new members last week and over the weekend, as Mass Live Curse reported. Now, searches for the New England serial killer on Google spiked on April 7th, according to a data from the search engine. There might be an anaconda. Jeffrey Montgomery, I just don't use it because I'll be really honest with you. I know you can private stuff. I know you can make sure that you're incognito, but I also know that I am trying to grow my channel. It's publicly facing, and my kids didn't sign up for that. So I really have stepped away from Facebook just because as much as I trust you lovely lovelies in the chat, there is always going to be one a-hole until the a-hole rapture that might want to go in there and use, any pictures or things from my kiddos. So I just stopped using it. It was a personal thing. It's not that I hate Facebook. It's just, my kiddos didn't sign up for this. So I didn't want to, have anything that might come back to them, awkward photos, anything they didn't want out there. And I just figured it's easier to, just let that go. Let it go. Let it go. No Facebook anymore. Well, in the life cycle of owning a boat, one man has sunk. A Utah man who bought a cruise ship on Craigslist mourns its horrible death after spending 15 years and $1 million trying to restore it. I'm sure his wife, you know, sure his wife is very happy with the explosion. A man from Utah who spent over $1 million trying to restore a cruise ship he bought on Craigslist before it started sinking is speaking out about the sad moment the vessel was demolished. As previously reported by People, technology entrepreneur Chris Wilson revealed in a September 2024 interview with CNN Travel that he and his long-term partner, Jin Lee, spent 15 years restoring the Aurora, a 293-foot vessel, after purchasing it online in 2008. Now, the ship that was originally named the Wappen von Hamburg and inspired the Love Boat was built in Germany after World War II. It had 85 cabins with a swimming pool, a theater, and was featured in the 1963 film From Russia with Love. The U.S. Coast Guard announced May of last year that the boat had begun to sink in 13 feet of water and discharged pollution into the Little Potato Sow near Stockton. Well, I mean, it's the last thing you ever do if you own a boat. Now, in December, the USCG's Northern California X account confirmed that a dead ship tow had been conducted on the vessel and had been taken to nearby Mare Island. Stockton Community Relations Officer Connie Cochran has since told CNN that the vessel is no longer with us. Bon voyage. I hope you did a Viking funeral for to set it alight. Would have been beautiful, and Greta Thunberg would have cried, and I would have laughed at her tears like Cartman when he fed that kid chili with his parents. That was a little bit of a dark episode, but I kind of liked it. That being said, my inner child is a dick. Now, Wilson, who sold the boat in October 2023 after locals took issue with the dormant ship, told CNN Travel that seeing it demolished was probably one of the saddest things I've had to witness in this lifetime. He added, "It's hard to watch 15 years of work just go to complete waste." Cochran told the outlet in an email it was towed to Mare Island as of April 9th, 2025. The destruction of the Aurora was complete except for the final disposal of a few key pieces and material. Wilson told CNN of his decision to sell the vessel nearly 2 years ago. "Was I willing to go down with the ship? I mean, I would have worked on that ship my entire life. But once they threw a wrench in the work, that kind of ended it for me. I decided no more, he added. Now, per the publication, he insisted that he was grateful to have been able to keep it on the water for so long. I kept it safe for 15 years, and then when I couldn't see any hope for me working on the project anymore, I passed it along to someone else. Wilson, who wanted to turn the ship into a museum, told CNN. Well, I mean, it swings and roundabouts. I mean, the love boat is gone. Just go on a cruise. Why would you buy a cruise boat? Now, y'all, when I saw this headline, this is how we get final form Jesus. Y'all, I am not ready for the rapture. Look, I say way too many curse words. I do not have time for patience. And y'all are trying to bring final form Jesus down here, and I'm going to get stuck with Nicolas Cage, and I'm going to make everybody suffer. Mark my words, if I'm left behind with Nicolas Cage, I am going to make him use that stupid Southern accent, and we are going to pretend it is Con Air the entire time. I'm going to make him grow his hair long, because good Lord. Millionaires are hosting the world's first sperm race. Yes, you heard that right. Your swimmers could win a gold medal at an iconic venue, complete with leaderboards, commentary, and replays. Well, I guess it's better than banging 1,000 guys in one day. I mean, okay. This time it's good to finish fast. Move over Belmont Stakes, get, Churchill Downs, move on back. We've got the sperm race. An enterprising startup has announced the launch of the world's first sperm race, in which samples will go head to head in Los Angeles to raise awareness about declining male fertility. Yeah, nothing says declining male fertility like making men whack off and see if their sperm are faster. Y'all could have started with a ribbon. Lance Armstrong gave us a bracelet. You guys are giving us sperm races, which I actually, yay you. Now, the unusual contest was organized by Sperm Racing, a group of young moguls and millionaires who raised over $1 million to back this veritable Kentucky Derby of, man juice. It takes place April 25th. Don't shoot your load too soon. At the Hollywood Palladium in front of thousands of spectators. Ew. Just ew. Now, 2 competitors, 2 samples, and 1 microscopic finish line, declared sperm racing boss Eric Zhu in his race manifesto. The teen tech entrepreneur who previously founded private market analysis software Avito dreamed up the daring event alongside Nick Small. Apropos of nothing, Mr. Small. Head of business management consulting firm Stealth. Shane Fan, CEO of NFT pricing platform Waterfall. What is an NFT? Does anyone fucking know? Look, y'all, that's the big look. I'm gonna go on a tangent because look, y'all know me. I don't know technology. Oh wait. But y'all, here's my biggest beef with the Karen Reed case because I really don't have a side. But how the F did we have 5 different experts and I still don't know how Slong to die in cold, if it was magic, Harry Potter, or what? I can't figure it out. But we had 5 experts and I'm still as dumb about the damn cell phone as I ever was. Now, that being said, I don't understand technology, but you'd think out of, 5 people, I would understand something. Interesting. Look, people have tried to explain Bitcoin to me. It's just like euchre. I have look, I can't be taught with euchre and Bitcoin. So the third brain child is Garrett Nikanando, a former content strategist for Mr. Beast. Now, the goal isn't to elicit sophomore giggles. Well, yes, it is. But instead to turn health into a competition and make male fertility something people actually want to talk about, track, and improve, per the manifesto. Okie dokie. In accordance, the mini marathon will see 2 spermatozoa, which measure 0.5 milliliters or millimeters long, race a 25 centimeter long microscopic racetrack modeled after the female reproductive system. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, this is how we get. Look, y'all, I don't need final form Jesus. I don't. Stop it. With chemical signals, fluid dynamics, and synchronized starts, per the document. Whenever one crosses the finish line, as verified by advanced imaging, it will be declared the winner. Now, how fast will the winner finish? It is yet unclear, but based on, the sperm's real life speed, the race could be over in a flash or last well over an hour. That's what she said, giggity. The swimming speed of human sperm in fluid is approximately 5 millimeters per minute, so theoretically, the fun-sized Michael Phelps swimmers could swim through the, you know, Lady Bits track in a matter of minutes or hours. Well, I still think it would be funner than watching. Look, I don't get golf. I know it. I understand, but the being quiet stuff. And look, don't give me a club. I am liable. Look, I don't want to hurt anyone intentionally, but there should be no reason anyone gives me a golf club. I am just a human chaos person. The stakes have never been smaller or bigger, joked Zoo in a statement. Now, to make the spectacle more cinematic, these microscopic sea monkeys will have their every move tracked by high-resolution cameras and live streamed. Thank you, John. Just when I think we couldn't get any more degen, we manage. Just when the bar is lowered and you think it can't go any lower, we lower it. America. And I get that this is a real problem. I get that lowering fertility means that we have a lot of toxins in our bodies and our food and all that. But did we have to have a sperm race? Also, guys, I'm just going to tell you, your sperm is going to be racing all by itself. Do not put a picture of you in lab coats with no shirts on, holding samples of sperm. Like, guys, come here to Mama Mo, sweethearts, sweeties. Come here. Come to the loving bosom of Mama Mo. Ain't no girl gonna want to sleep with you if you tell them that you do sperm races. No one. You are gonna be alone for your life. Billions dollars. The minute you say sperm races, women are out, okay? Thank you so much, John Coleman. No sperm race. Just stop and don't put your pictures on this. Boys, do you imagine what? Look, boys. I'm gonna explain this the way a mama does. Now, it's the holiday time, and I'm writing the fake letter where I lie about our life being good. The fake holiday letter. Now, what is your mama gonna write? Well, Larry is doing real well. His startup is great. He is still a millionaire. I am sure you have seen the news that he is organizing a awareness campaign about a social issue that doesn't get a lot of attention. Look, don't make your mom have to lie in the family Christmas letter. Look, she is going to print that out and fold it and put a picture of you in matching shirts after she's done yelled at everyone and probably taken a shot of whiskey. Don't make your mama lie in a Christmas letter about what the hell you're doing, because sperm racing, what the actual fuck? There will also be play-by-play commentary. Oh my God, hire me. Look, I know I've just spent like the last 10 minutes making fun of you, but I need this in my life. I have been pregnant 6 times. I think I could pick winners. I don't want to be the face of it. Could I have an avatar? But I could totally do commentary, especially if it takes hours because they won't ask directions or get, stuck going the wrong way. Please, dear God, have your people talk to my people. I will make this a billion-dollar project. We are building a market where fans can pick their favorite competitors to see who's crossing the finish line first. I'm betting on Earl. He's been backed up for days. Jesus. And this is Cletus. He's never dated anyone outside the family. Whether it's athletes or celebrities, imagine backing your icon in the weirdest, most entertaining event you've ever seen. Oh my God, fantasy sperm leagues. Let me think about that. That's hilarious. While the swimmer motility speed test might seem odd, Zoo assures that sperm racing isn't a joke despite being hilarious. Rather, the event, much like the Marathon for Breast Cancer Awareness, was created to shed light on the issue of declining male fertility worldwide because, science. That's why we have to FAP. Every boy, hand hug, and race time. It's happening quietly and steadily, and no one's really talking about it, lamented Zhu, who said the goal was to take the topic that no one wants to touch and make it interesting and measurable. Look, I'm looking at your picture, and doesn't want to touch applies to a lot of things, y'all. Go to the gym, get out in sun. Look, I know, look, pot calling the kettle black. I know I should get out in the sun, but I'm also not making sperm races. So just stop it. So there you go, sperm racing. Between 1973 and 2018, the concentration of swimmers among men dropped more than 50% from 101 million to 49 million per milliliter. Uh, there you go. And thank you, Squad Bob, for gifting one membership, and that went to Janie J. Welcome to the Church of Mo. We have the circle or the triangle of awesome, dark chocolate, humor, and true crime. So welcome, welcome. Let me get these tags going. Yeah, sperm races. I just, I love that I can find these things for you guys, but there are moments in my life when I'm like, is this a real thing? And thank you guys so much. The swear jar is just a growing. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dwayne, for being a member for a month. And John Coman, thank you for reaching deaconhood and supporting for 14 months. I can't believe it's been that long. We do have a circle of jerks. And thank you, Dwayne, for gifting 10 memberships. And those went to Obscure Destinations Outdoor, Twubble, Carla, FKR, Janice MB, J Cares, Joanna Tarley, Big Dog 5758, Miss Doolittle, and Sue. So let me get these written up. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I'm getting back to musings. I did take a day off yesterday, and I think it helped because I was trying to clear my mind for Karen Reed and everything else. I did get my nails done, which is a funny story because I get a wild hair and I don't actually plan things. So I just went in and made an appointment for later on in the day, not looking at the sign that said it was cash only. So I get done and I'm, proud of myself that I didn't smudge my, nail polish after she'd worked so hard, on the thing. So I was trying not to be a terrible client. And then she's like, "Oh, we only take cash." And I'm like, uh, here, hold my card. I'm running to the ATM. I and the closest ATM was like 2 minutes away, but I swear to God, I thought I was gonna get, like, arrested for non-payment. I did pay her and give her a good tip, but it was like, "Oh my God, I am a dingus," because most people would have checked that, to be fair. Now, me, I am a chaos demon, so it's not, as ridiculous as one would think, and she was super sweet about it, so I appreciated that, but I was so embarrassed. I told Mr. Mo, I was like, "I didn't even look at the sign, I'm such a dingus." You would think I would pay attention. I'm all about detail in my trials, but real life. And then to, top it all off, I decided to go to Arby's to treat myself because I rarely go out to eat, and Arby's was sounding good for some reason. Thank you very much, Dwayne, and welcome all new members of the Church of Mo. We have dark chocolate sarcasm and true crime. We are here, and there we go. So thank you so much. So I went to Arby's. You guys, brain frog is real because look, I don't know. This is going to be end Mo's story time, and then we have one more story. I don't know if anyone else struggles to relax. I think my body is just aligned to be running on stress and caffeine. So relaxing confused me. So I had my earbuds in. I was like trying to, be in the moment. But I got all tense because she kept moving my hand and I didn't know which way she wanted to move. And it was like I kept trying to anticipate where I was going. And I don't know if anyone else, but I have a intolerance for that little drill sound. I don't understand people that pick careers where they're gonna hear that "ee, ee." Look, it does, like, shivers up my spine, but she was really nice and she did a great job, and it's the more you know swish. Mr. Mo was like, "I wouldn't have guessed you'd pick that color," and I said, "I need something sassy for Karen Reed." Well, the last story. Now, this has been a hotly debated topic in my house. As you know, the 5-second rule is somewhat sacred, but the 5-second rule has been put to the test. Scientists reveal how long is too long, how slong is too slong to eat food off the floor. I'm glad that we spend government money to fund this. Again, Elon, Mr. Trump, if you would like to donate to a charity where 100% of the profits go to what it is, my for-profit charity called Mo's House, where 100% of all of the donations go to Mo. I am the most honest charity ever. They were floored by the results. Okay, New York Post, I will give you this one. Everyone has picked up fast food to prevent contamination, but this method is tried and true, or is it merely an old wives' tale? Now, a Chicago microbiologist has put the so called 5-second rule to the test to scientifically gauge if it's safety food that has fallen off the floor, as seen in a TikTok clip with over 1 million views. I thought it would be fun for people to know all the nastiness that we don't think about every day, Nicholas Archer, senior quality control analyst, told Jam Press. Now, the researcher has amassed more than 450,000 followers on his TikTok channel, where he uploads videos of himself testing cleanliness of everyday items, from gas pumps to toothbrushes to even inside of a dog's mouth. Now, his latest hygiene experiment, Archer decided to place a petri dish on the ground for various time limits ranging from 0 seconds to 1 minute. Then he incubated the samples in a cultivator to see the extent to which they bore bacterial fruit. Now, as it turns out, every sample had evidence of microbial growth, proving that no amount of floor time is safe when it comes to contamination. Here's the problem, you guys. If we continue to sanitize our environments to the point where we don't allow our bodies to, have to fight these microbes on a fairly regular basis, then our body becomes confused, our immune system weakens. These microbes being around actually strengthens our body by testing it, almost like steel sharpening steel. So the advent of antibacterial soap actually destroyed a lot of the microbes that our body had gotten used to fighting. We are losing immunity. Now, I'm not a scienceologist. I'm not RFK. I have never, been to a Kennedy event, I promise. So take my advice with a grain of salt, but, it stands. Now, I lied. This is our last story. I forgot to put it up, but Keystone crap. A woman was busted in a beer cave for defiling it. Now, our favorite website, The Smoking Gun. If you want to waste time, do the different pictures with the criminals. It is fun. Now, on April 15th, a school nutrition administrator was arrested for committing a terribly unappetizing act near a beer cave at a Pennsylvania convenience store. An employee at a Royal Farms location in Hanover last week called police to report that an unknown woman had come in the previous day and left a stink pickle in the beer cave. She was prairie dogging. Do not trust a shart at any age. Now, As described in the probable cause affidavit, the beer cave is a walk in cooler open to the public to select cooled beverages. All doors in the beer cave are in the cooled areas are in clear glass, providing a visual of the inside from a common area of the store. Now, the police reviewed security footage that showed the suspect pushing a case of alcoholic beverages on the back shelf and pulling down her pants and, well, laying a pickle right there, a stink pickle, a turdlet, if you will, a, a brown bomb. Now, she, then left. The camera recorded the woman arriving at Royal Farms as seen above in an SUV. The vehicle was registered to the owner identified as Crystal Gas, 47, the individual driving the car when the offense occurred. Now, the driver's license photo of Gas matched the suspect depicted in the surveillance camera. Now, the relationship between Gass and the car's owner was not addressed in the court filing. She was arrested yesterday for several crimes, including open lewdness, criminal mischief, disorderly conduct, and creating a hazardous and physically offensive condition. Now, according to the complaint, which does not indicate why she, pooed in the beer cave, is worth about $80 or $80 worth of Royal Farms merchandise was lost. Now, she does live about a mile from Royal Farms and is the director of food and nutrition for a local school district. Well, the parents of that local school district are going to get one of those fine notes that says, "We have become aware that one of our employees was involved in a regrettable situation. We have put her on paid administrative leave because she's in a union, and we are going to have to wait a year and a half before we can fire her for laying a stink pickle in public. Good luck with that one. She's there for life." I don't know, I'm making it up. Well, there you have it, you guys. The morning newsy news, the news you never knew you always needed. I hope it was fun. Thank you for sharing your morning with me. I will be going over to Baker's Stream. We will be watching the final hearings in the Karen Reed case. So, as I said, I did put out a video of how I will be covering the Karen Reed case. Basically, I will be, just uh, going in like it's any other case. I understand that some people don't like Baker's opinions and some people don't like, so and so's opinions. I'm just going to be calling balls and strikes and being snarky. So, please join me over there. You don't have to, but this is going to be a fun case, and I'm hoping we don't get to the retrial because then the gloves are off. Then I'm just full sassiness mode. Have a great day. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. But have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire because kindness no longer equals doormat. I will see you guys in just a little bit. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for sharing your day with me. Bye, you guys.